Hey, it's us once again. Me, JT,
Mike B.
Mike B. We're here for another Iyanla Fix My Life episode. For all we know, this number 2 for whatever season.
Whatever season this is.
Yeah, number 2. And it's dealing with somewhat of a family, but one person in the family in particular. Mm-hmm. His name is Shannon. Mm-hmm. I believe he's like a 28-year-old African American. If you look like him, he look like he's somewhat Cuban or Hispanic. If you didn't see his parents,
yeah, his daddy black. I would call him black.
I mean, well, that's the truth though, Mike. If your daddy black, you need to call him black. But it's dealing with him, Shannon, and the rest of his family. A sister he has. They look like they're somewhat close in age. I think he's like 28, and she look like she's somewhat in her 20s, somewhere around there. His mother and his father. And so, of course, Iyanla comes and meet them. Are they in Chicago?
Yeah, she said, no, right here. I mean, I know, but I'm saying I don't know. But I think at the end, when they, the rehab or whatever, she said right here in Chicago. So I assume that's where they from. Mm-hmm. Don't be, that don't matter. Don't be trying to throw.
Well, I'm trying to give people somewhat of a area of where we at.
You need to let me know what questions you gonna ask me before the show.
That's kind of easy, might be. Where are they at?
You didn't know? I ain't know either.
I mean, you're supposed to be my back.
Now, moving on.
And so he said rehab, and so that's really what the trouble is. Our homeboy is he's a crystal meth addict. Mm-hmm. And I think like the first time that he tried crystal meth was when he was like 16 or whatnot. And this is what he was telling Iyanla, when their initial visit with each other, and I think they were like in a place downtown Chicago or like an area.
They call it Boys Town.
The Boys Town. And we'll get to that also. And she was like, well, we can get to it now. Hell. She was like, what made you try crystal meth? You had to have something, some type of problems. What aren't you telling me?
Yeah, what drove you here?
What drove you to, crystal? Because crystal meth, man, that ain't a good looking drug. You just ain't gonna come out looking good. Some drugs, you can still look decent and whatnot, but crystal meth, crack, heroin.
I've seen some decent looking crackheads though. I feel like
I think you got too many examples. You've been hanging around too many crackheads. Where the variance is in the good looking favor. And might come from street speak. And so he said, what one of the secrets, or it wasn't a secret. One of the things he said was that he was gay. He was homosexual. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, like he said, he grew up in mostly a 90% white neighborhood. When growing up, his family was I guess I would say upper middle class. Mm-hmm. And I think he was like, he said it was 5% black and the other 5% other. And so she said when you're already a minority in your neighborhood, 90% trying to what's the word of trying to fit in? Yes. You need to come in, Mike. Just don't wait for me to search. I'm up here. I'm just computing, and you got the answer right there, dude. That's how you do, boy. And so he's trying to fit in. Not only that, he's African American in the white community, but he's gay also. And she was like, I'm pretty sure it was mostly straight people where you was at. And he kind of yeah, you right. So he's a minority. He's a minority, if you want to call it that. I guess when you try to fit in, or you trying to find something to, I guess, to do. I guess he didn't have no friends or whatnot, or just usually people try drugs a lot of times, just because. Mm-hmm. It's just.
But is it like, do people try crystal meth just because? I feel like people try marijuana. You might try mushrooms or ecstasy just because.
I think it was just that drug around. He wasn't. I don't think he was like an expert in what to take. As his gateway, he chose the strongest shit.
Straight out the gate.
Yeah, straight out the gate. Forget the weed. Forget Oxycontin pills or whatever. Oh no, I'm ready to die now. And so that's what he did. He took the crystal meth, and I guess he's been using for 12 years. And so that's basically why he's here. And so the family knows that he is a meth addict. But the parents have been supporting him, and they're basically, their excuse is, they at least they know he's not on the street.
When you say supporting him, what do you mean?
Financially, not emotionally.
And they're paying his rent, and that's like they paying his bills. And I don't know. I feel like if that was my child, could I basically? Well, I guess maybe I could, because they're trying to keep him off the streets, basically. Mm-hmm. And they realize that deep down, he probably is a good person.
But they raised the boy.
Did they?
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like maybe like at the age of 17, he was just out.
You damn near out by the 17. I'm talking about from they raised
0 to 16.
By that time, you still got somewhat a little bit of life lessons. But if you haven't learned shit by 17, as they say, I failed you. You know what I'm saying? And of course, she brought that in on this episode. And so that brings in the parents. She talked with the parents and the daughter. She set them three down and basically, do you know your son is a meth addict? Have you established that? They're like, yeah, we know. No. Do you know the severity of? Do you know that he overdosed 3 times and been in the hospital? They're like, no. And so she's like, your son basically got one on the earth and one in the grave. Mm-hmm. And he's on the brink of death, and you don't know. You ain't know it. What's your thoughts on that, Mike B?
I can understand them not knowing, because all they do, I think they feel like they're doing their part to help him by paying his bills, keeping him
making sure he's not on the street.
Yeah, he has a roof over his head. So that's the way they kind of justify helping him.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, I can see myself doing the same thing instead of actually dealing with the problem, dealing with the issue, and forcing him to either do something.
Basically, face his addiction.
Yeah.
And so while she was sitting with the parents, she met with the dad. Like, okay, so when he told you that he was gay, or why are you somewhat supporting his habit that he's living rent free. You don't know he don't have a job, type of deal. And she said, well, have you had experience? Because he was talking like somewhat on experience with a drug addict, because he said he had a brother. And he told the whole situation. His brother had an altercation with the grandfather dying, and he couldn't save him. And so I guess he took to crack, or was it crack? And died. Eventually shot his head. Shot himself in the head. Committing suicide. He couldn't take it no more. He blamed himself. And so, that was basically the father's thing. The mama, she was a wreck. From the beginning of what's her name?
Because I think she feels she failed him.
We all knew that what she felt. Not one scene did she say a word without a tear in her eye.
It has to be. It also has to be embarrassing that you've allowed it to get this far, to go this far, without any type of intervention. They never mentioned one time where, you all have known that he's been addicted to drugs for more than a couple of years, but not once did they say, aside from paying his rent, that we talked to him, we sat him down, we tried to have an intervention with him, we tried to get him to go into rehab. Nobody said anything like that. They just kind of dealt with it, hoping that one day the light will click and he would do the right thing. His father said a person is not going to get help until they want to get help. Okay, but he didn't say, well, I asked him. Did he want to get help? He said no. So that let me know he wasn't ready. No, you never even asked him. So how would you know? I think that was just their way of kind of not dealing with it.
Showing it someone. And that's what Iyanla was trying to get over. She like, they trying to block it out, this haughtiness that they have, or somewhat upper class, or
like they,
middle class elitists, if you want,
I'm gonna button up my shirt for this one.
Okay. But yeah, that's how they felt. And so she said, well, she sat with him and his sister after they talked with the family. And, she was like, well, maybe, he'll give some information to his, to his sister, just to get everything out in the open, tell his truths and whatnot. And he was like, well, I'm a meth addict. Like he wanted to go star.
I told her. Well, maybe it was.
She knew that though.
That's what I was saying. Also, it may be something that he's never admitted to her, and I think that's what Iyanla was. She didn't want that. She wanted him to she said, tell her.
Because everybody knew.
Everybody knew secret. Yeah, everybody knew. Look at you on the show. We ain't here because your feet hurt. I think everybody's in agreement that you're a crystal. And Iyanla, if she didn't say a crystal meth addict,
she kept on stressing that.
She stressed it. So I mean, and he's a crystal meth addict. I think.
What was his truths? Or what was
Iyanla made him reveal the fact that he lost his job. She made remember, and the sister didn't know that, and I really don't remember. Like anything else that she revealed.
As far as the sister and whatnot.
Because he had a sense of like
entitlement,
pride.
Like I have morals. I'm not going to sell my ass for a piece of a drug or whatever. She's like, but no, you a crystal man.
She said, how in the hell can you sit up here and say you got morals, but you go on 1 to 3 day meth binges, giving your ass away for free, but you got morals. Having unprotected sex, but you have morals.
At least hoes know how to get paid.
Jerry.
I mean, you giving it away for free, and you on drugs.
Well, and I don't think he saw the connection where y'all go y'all party, you do this crystal meth, and then you give your tail away. I feel like there's an exchange in there somewhere. You may not be getting cash, but you're still giving
up ass. And that's the problem, that he wasn't. I will never stoop to myself. I think he was just looking at the actual drug dealer as like at a drug house or something, and just on the street.
Like she kept saying, you're being delusional. Because what he's thinking, like, I'm a little bit better than some of the crystal meth addicts because I see them physically take money, sell their ass, then go buy some crystal meth. He feels like I still have a little bit of
God in me.
It's like,
ignorant.
Where he at? Like, show him. I mean, I feel like.
Well, go ahead.
I feel like he needed to humble.
There you go. Humble.
He needed to humble himself. He was too, like you said, hoity-toity. Your parents are paying your rent. You out here giving up ass for crystal meth. Cheeseburgers. You ain't got no job. How are you partying? I mean, I didn't understand that to where he felt like this. I'm a better crystal meth addict than this other guy. But yet still, I'm on TV asking Iyanla for some help.
It seemed like he should have said, at least I brushed my teeth. And that seemed like that was the next thing that came out of his mouth.
He even mentioned that, other people are missing their teeth, but he takes pride. I'm like, what?
But
and I put my shoes on every day. What? Like, hopefully, he can sit back and watch this and listen to how stupid he sounds. I understand it's an addiction, and he probably not in his right mind. I'll give him that. But you gotta humble yourself. You can't be up here asking somebody for help and then thinking that you don't really need help because you have some sort of control. If you had control, brother, then you wouldn't be going on crack binges, meth binges for 3 days.
Like, if you was all right, I wouldn't be here. And the thing what got me, she set him down, this toward the end with the family. Everybody got together. Him and the dad had a little exchange. I forgive you. I'm sorry. Blase, blase.
And he admitted the fact that he was using them.
And using, it was a good start. And the mama, of course, still
crying.
Still crying. It was ridiculous how she was hurt. Mm-hmm. She was hurt.
And I can understand it.
Yeah. But when he brought in the what was the dog's name? Curtis? What was the dog's name?
I don't know.
Because he said the name before they established seemed like it was a dog. Mm-hmm. He said, I will not go Chandler, yeah. He said, I will not go anywhere without Chandler. Or do anything.
It sounded like Chandler was his maid or something like that.
I thought it was a person.
Yeah.
How he said it. And it was a fucking dog.
He was done.
I was done.
But I was done. He said he was close to Chandler because Chandler has been his only friend throughout all of this. I can understand that to a certain extent. But you called Iyanla for help. She's trying to get you into this rehab facility for 30 days, and you don't.
You talking about I'm not going without my dog. I can't be without my dog for more than 3 days type shit.
And she was like, "What? No, he didn't say like a specific time. He's like, I can't be without him." She's like, "Where your dog at now?" She said, "Where was your dog when you was on those 1 to 3 day binges?
Scratching his balls."
Like, come on now. And his father had to say, he's like, "You are a crystal meth addict."
Get that through your greasy head. Because his head look greasy too.
I didn't understand. Like, he didn't see it. He was in denial, thinking that, I felt like deep down he thought he had some type of control over it.
He didn't. And that was, I mean, he was talking like a classic. It was moments where when he was talking about his morals. That was an episode when the crack is whack type of deal. Like, he's just in denial, and like, if you listen to how you sound, brother. And then when like you just said, when the dog issue, are you listening to yourself?
I'm glad that Iyanla pointed out the fact that he's like, if I had to live on the streets, then I would have killed myself by now. And I'm glad Iyanla pointed out the fact that you're a manipulator because he's using that against his parents so that they feel sorry and obligated to help him, pay his rent, provide for him, so he won't be on the streets.
Talking about, if I was on the streets, I wouldn't survive. I'm weak. I'm not made for that.
Mm-hmm. But you have morals. That probably his morals kicking in. I'm not made for the streets.
I'm made for the streets, but I ain't gonna sell my ass for no. And I'm pretty sure he
probably just give it away for free in exchange for some meth. You call it what you want. He calls it free.
There was a price to pay, and so that's pretty much it.
Well, remember he did go to rehab. So.
I mean, they walked him in.
And he checked himself out.
I mean, they gave a not so good statistic talking about 90% of people that go into rehab for crystal meth, relapse, and then they said Shannon was one, and so that's what we saw. That's the last part we saw. That's where our recording stopped.
That's sad. I feel like he basically. Well, I don't even want to say that he wasted her time because maybe I don't think it's that easy just to get off of drugs. I don't think it's easy at all, especially when you're addicted. You're addicted, but it's still you're in denial about the addiction.
I think as far as her and this show, I think I don't know if they have like a backup support system. I think she's like the initial. Mm-hmm. She's like the intervention person. She's not the actual doctor that's going to be with you. She's like the emergency room doctor, I guess, and gets you started. I don't think
she does triage, and then somebody else has to come.
Like she stops the bleeding. Basically, that's what she does. I mean, you can take it if you want. You can leave it if you want.
But at least recognize that this is what you need. That's all I'm asking.
And 90% of them don't. Obviously. So, if you're gonna do drugs, don't do crystal meth, kids. And that's my PSA.
I would like to say, don't do drugs.
Of course not. Don't do drugs, kids. I was just playing. But until next time, Mike, you got something to say?
I don't have anything else to add.
Oh, usually if I do this hand, it's not on the screen, so I'm trying to teach myself to do it this way.
All right. Peace.